How to rise above the fear and illusion surrounding 2021. In this episode, you are going to learn the major tactics that are being used right now on the planet to divide and conquer us. You're also going to learn why some people can see what is happening right now and other people don't have a clue. And finally, I'm going to give you some tools and strategies you can use to survive and rise above the illusion and the fear that is surrounding 2021. My name is Aloise.life Middleton. I'm a transformational teacher, advanced Akashic Records reader, and the creator of the Dharma Life Academy, and I'm the host of the Dharma Life podcast. And welcome to this episode, how to rise above the fear and illusion that is surrounding 2021. Wow. What is going on at the moment? My goodness, there is so much stuff to navigate. And I just wanted to give you the benefit of my personal perspective, because I am seeing so many amazing strategies being used by our government. Now, I say government because our governments are here to govern our minds. Government. So what we have to do is govern ourselves. We don't want to be buying into the propaganda and the fear tactics that are being used currently on the planet. So what is happening right this second on our planet? Well, if you haven't already noticed, we are in the Great Awakening. This has been going on for the last year or two, and it's probably one of the biggest spiritual awakenings to happen on the earth. And it's an incredible time to be alive. Please don't get me wrong. We chose here to be here at this time. If you're watching this channel, you're awake, you're aware. And I want you to remember that you chose to be here. And actually, the best thing that you can do is observe everything that is happening out there right now, because it is incredible. If you can step back and be objective, like, it is absolutely incredible. Chances are, though, you're probably getting sucked into it and you're probably being thrown around a little bit with it. So the way around that is to really dedicate yourself to your spiritual practice and your spiritual journey. And actually committing yourself to doing the inner work will free you up externally. And we're going to come on to that. So I just want to share with you a few things that they used to do in Roman times, which I thought was really interesting. And actually, they're strategies that are being used on this planet right now. So Julius Caesar is famously known for basically using bread and circuses to distract his people. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, Julius Caesar created the gladiators and also used to be famous for getting his citizens quite drunk, basically, so he could distract them while he was doing illegal things in the government. There's also another technique that comes from history, which is called divide and conquer. This is where you distract and you cause infighting within different communities, so you are more able to manipulate them and conquer them, actually. Now, this is being used in the truther community at the moment. This stuff is happening in the truther community. This stuff is happening with our governments. They are actually always finding ways to turn us on each other. And until humanity gets smart and steps out of the illusion and the fear and comes together, we will keep being subject to these divide and conquer strategies. So often race is the card that is pulled. It can be sex, so putting men against women. It can be gay and lesbian and different minority groups which are set against one another. And our government is trying to manipulate us and to really keep us in fear and being fearful and scared of one another. And that's the bit I find most objective, is that they're training us to be fearful of other people. Like, even going out now and you've got a cold, people look at you like you've got three heads. You feel awful even for even wanting to sneeze or breathe. And this is something that we have to really realize is a strategy. Now, at the moment, what is amazing and what is wonderful to watch is people are starting to come together. So all over the world, there have been these worldwide freedom demonstrations, 180 countries, and these demonstrations are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And actually in London, they've had up to 1 million people in the streets of London. A lot of them were outside the BBC shouting, "You should be ashamed of yourself," at the last march. Now, these protests are freedom fighters, and these are people like you and me who are spiritually awake and aware and can see what is happening on the planet right now. Now, the good thing is these protests will only get bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is fantastic because these people have worked out, myself included, that we are stronger together. 99% is much stronger than 1%. Now, the more we come together as a collective, the more we rise above the fear and illusion, the quicker we will make this transition. Remember, the old paradigm is collapsing from 2020 to 2024 is obviously when the old paradigm is collapsing. That may continue. Who knows how quickly it's going to go. But humanity is obviously now in the Leo Aquarius age, and the Leo Aquarius age is Leo is all about us regaining our power and our sovereignty. And obviously Aquarius is very much about the spiritual nature and age. So not only are people regaining their power, they're also shifting their consciousness. And ascension, obviously to ascend is to go into higher states of consciousness and awareness. So this is what's playing out. You've got the old fraction losing control and really tightening their grip, trying to pit us against each other, make people scared of one another. Obviously, the lockdowns have taken us apart from each other, so we can't come together and discuss what's happening. Obviously, we've got the internet, which is amazing, so you can find your tribe online. But the old fraction are kind of ramping up the control and the power and wanting us to separate. And then you've got the spiritual, the Leo Aquarius age, which is obviously happening at the same time. And people are conscious, spiritually awakening, people are raising their consciousness, and really more and more people are understanding that they have the power. And this is what I want you to really take away from this video. Yes, all of this stuff is happening outside of you, but where we need to really be concentrating our energy and effort is internally. Because the more of us that do our inner work, the better the outside will get. Life is a mirror, okay? Literally. So everything that happens on the planet right now is actually divinely sent and divinely guided for us as a collective to awaken, and come together and rise up. Now, how we do that, how we speed that up is by taking responsibility for ourselves and doing our shadow work, doing our inner child work, doing our past life integration work, understanding that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And actually what we need to be doing is opening our energy centers and regaining our power. If you have a nation of people who are spiritually asleep and who haven't done this inner work, they're easy to control, they're easy to manipulate. I had some friends over for dinner the other night, and they're sort of my parents' age, they're a bit older, and they were saying that they just feel much safer now they've had the V. And of course, that's the thing. They're wanting you to feel safe, or they're causing you to feel unsafe. So you agree with what they're doing and feel safe. This is the same tactic that they use to get citizens to sanction war. They will make you feel unsafe, being threatened that that person or that civilization might hurt or attack you. And then so because you're feeling unsafe, you will then sanction doing something you wouldn't necessarily agree to if the circumstances weren't making you feel unsafe. And this is how humanity has been kept in the lower level states of consciousness and awareness. Remember, poverty consciousness is all about keeping people in the lower level states of awareness so they feel unsafe and they don't rise up. All of this stuff is happening. It's absolutely fascinating, really fascinating. Now, the reason I can say it's fascinating and not get drawn into it, even though I am having my own personal family issues around people wanting to drag you into the drama, is because I've done my inner work. Now, the more we integrate our inner child, the more we integrate our shadow, we can be objective. We can look at something and we can say, well, that person kicking off at me isn't actually about me, it's about them. And you don't have your inner child running the show, so you're scared of speaking up. You don't have your inner child running the show, so you're worried about what people think of you. When we're healed, we can't be distracted. We can actually see the manipulation tactics, and we can see what is happening out on the planet. Now, another point I wanted to share with you, why can some people see what's going on and others can't? Like, how weird is that? And even how is it that some spiritual people can see what's going on and others can't? I find that really fascinating. Now, my work with the Akashic Records has revealed that to me. I've worked with thousands of people in the Akashic Records, and I've worked with people who are able to see everything and others that can't see. Now, what I have found is it does depend on your past life karma and your past life experiences. Often, some people who can't see, even though they're spiritually awake, what is going on right now is because in some past life they might have taken an allegiance to the Queen. They might have been part of the Masons. They might have done something which is blocking their third eye, really seeing what is happening on the planet right now. So it is really, really fascinating times, absolutely fascinating times. And I suppose my top tip for you is to start to see above the fear and illusion. And remember, this duality, this universe, this planet, we came here to find our way out, to find our way home. And the polarity and duality, if they tell you something, the chances are it's the opposite. It's like this Indian variant, like when you look when I actually look at it, I'm like, really, do people really fall for that rubbish? And of course people are, but that's because they're not looking behind the veil. They're not looking behind the illusion. They're taking what their MMM tells them. And the media is not God, and it is not good. So what we have to start to do is question everything and look behind the veil, look behind the illusion. There are many videos available from people in India expressing how actually there's nothing going on. Now, this is going to be used as an excuse to put people back into lockdown in the UK. And actually, I'm looking forward to that because people will not tolerate it. Every single video I have watched where, say, a certain politician in the UK is saying what they're going to be doing, or Matt Hancock, then you see comments underneath and nobody is buying into it. So actually, from that perspective, it's very encouraging. And British people have been far too polite and stiff upper lip for too long. And now it's time for them to find their power. And these protests and these marches will only be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So my request is that if you see footage and images of these marches, that you actually put it on your Instagram and on your Facebook so other people can see what they're not being told by the mainstream media. Because often what happens is it's hidden from us, because imagine if everybody in our country got to see what was happening with these marches. All the people that disagree with what's happening would come out of the woodwork, and they'd be probably 4 or 5 times the size. And of course, this is inorganically what is happening anyway. It's such an incredible time to be alive if you can see what is happening and if you can step back and you can observe. Now, I'm going to be opening the Dharma Life Academy again in September, and we do all of this work, the shadow work, the inner child work, the past life integration, the energy center work. We do all of that in a safe environment in a community. So if that's something you're interested in, I'll put the waiting list details below. If you're keen to start your journey with ASAP, then by all means you can come and book a clearing with me. I do obviously the Akashic Records clearings, and I tell you where you are in your spiritual evolutionary journey and what you need to be focusing on. But my request is to all of you guys watching, start to step into your sovereignty, start to step into your power. This is what we came here for. We came here to become whole, and don't get distracted by the illusion. Have 80-20. I keep going back to it. 80-20, 80-20, 80-20. 20% of the time, I know what's going on out there. I keep an eye on it. I like to keep an eye on it. 80%, I'm doing my inner work and I'm doing my work to help humanity. And that is how we're going to lead our way out of the problems that we have got at the moment. So my beautiful people, thank you for joining me. I hope that was interesting. I hope you got something from it. I'd love to know what you gained or what you got in the comments. Don't fall for it. This is how you survive the fear and illusion in 2021. Become part of the solution, not part of the problem. And how you become part of the solution is to do your own inner work. Thank you so much for listening to the Dharma Life podcast. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. Please come over and say hello on my Instagram, our Facebook group, and also please let me know what you thought. So if you are listening, please take a screenshot of the podcast that you are listening to. Tag me on Instagram and I will reshare your post, and please let me know what it is that you got out of today's episode. Remember, when we do our Dharma, we are happier, healthier, we live longer, and we have a deep sense of unshakable inner peace.